What's going on now? We got Red Solo Cup. She's missing the roll cage. This is a sight we've seen a lot with this thing. I don't know. We just had a lot of bad luck with her. That's for sure. So yeah, we're in the process of tearing it back apart. We're gonna figure out what's wrong with the engine.
Brake watch out, maybe.
I don't know. Something's going on. So yeah, we're gonna tear the engine apart. I think multiple things kind of stacked on top of each other just kind of made this thing not work. So we think the water pump maybe went out, and we think it got hot too many times, and we think I don't know if the excess heat we think we threw a rod bearing or something. Not really sure.
Shit parts from Rev 6, so we're not happy with it.
Yeah, so we're gonna avoid that next time. So, but anyways, we gotta figure out what's going on. We're gonna be pretty meticulous with this build and make sure she's done right. Actually, we're 2 days later now, and it's early in the morning. We'll be able to get this tore apart probably less than an hour, to be honest. It won't take too long. Yeah. Well, we'll see. There's always complications. So yeah, we're gonna take the head off and work our way to the cylinders. I don't think the piston and cylinder is gonna be an issue at all. I think that stuff's fine, but we will see. I think our issue is in the water pump and the connecting rods and the crank. I'm hoping the crank ain't bad, but yeah, it takes so long for these. I gotta get some LEDs in here. What's the verdict?
A lot of carnage.
A lot of carnage. It's actually what I expected. Connecting rods.
Yep.
They seized up on the crankshaft.
Which all the other bearings are good though.
All the other bearings are fine. So yeah, we have hard feelings with Rev 6 power. The connecting rods. I don't remember if they were their brand or not. We're gonna figure things out, and we'll let you know what we come up with. But we might either part that engine out and get a used one, or maybe band-aid that one together. But it's all up to Wyatt what he wants to do. That is what happens when you have an overheating problem. You don't just keep sending it, Wyatt.
You know, just F it.
You don't just F it.
We made it another mile and a half.
Yeah, we're not really sure if the connecting rod seizing up is from Wyatt or if that was the problem to begin with. It's hard to say, but it was overheating before we started hearing a weird knock. Well, who do we have here?
Oh, Merry Christmas.
Oh, Santa Claus, huh?
Yeah, something like that.
We got a Wyatt's Custom.
Wyatt's Custom, Bonehead's Garage.
Oh man. Wow, that looks nice.
Yeah, it's heavy duty. I only know one, and it ain't light duty. I'll build a motor on this, maybe.
Oh, is that what this is for?
I don't know. It could be.
Could
heavy
be
enough.
I can do that. We just need an engine. Oh wait, we might have one. Little foreshadowing. We've been kind of teasing.
You want to unwrap it? It's your present.
All right, I can unwrap it, I guess.
There's a step on the side. I know that works too.
Need a little bit more. Oh. All right. Wow. That's one nice workbench.
She is sturdy.
Sturdy as can be. Oh yeah. Right height. Really working on the engine right here.
It's not my first rodeo.
All right, Wyatt. Future engine. Give her a rip. Yeah. Let me make sure that some of this is out of the way. I unfortunately didn't get this on video of me starting it earlier before I tore it apart. And it obviously fired right up. I even rode it around the yard a little bit. But now that I've taken everything apart to take the day arms off, it for some reason doesn't want to start at the moment. I think it has something to do with the key switch, not really sure, but we're gonna bypass it and start it up for you guys. good, doesn't it?
Sounds good.
Honestly, I have to look this up. I could be wrong, but I think this is a very similar engine to the YXZ. So you might just have a YXZ engine in your...
Hell yeah.
With more horsepower.
We're looking at the Apexes, but due to money and tight budget and honestly, I think weight even maybe. The Nitro is a 3-cylinder and that's what we got, so we're gonna send that.
We found a good deal on it. I did trade my Predator for that. And
works out for both.
We're working out a good deal between both of us on this. So
3-cylinder Yamaha Nitro into my turbo model Razor and send it.
Yep. So I believe the family class of this engine is just a 3-cylinder Genesis engine from Yamaha.
I think, yeah.
And there's so many parts for these things. I mean, they use these engines in a lot of different things. They're interchangeable, and
they're good for like 40,000 miles from what everyone at work told me that has them.
They work good. Now this sled has 9,000 miles, and I'm just tearing into it. Everything just looks original on it. I think it's gonna be, as you heard, sounds good. Seems like it runs good.
And I'm gonna send it.
And maybe down the road they do make supercharger kits for this.
It's just what I need.
Get it up to 200 horsepower.
I'm already thinking about putting a block of wood under the pedal, so.
So we have a huge project on our hand, and we are in the process of taking everything out. I already got the arms off, so today's process is literally stripping the entire front end out, and then Wyatt's going to take all the engine components, electrical components, and then everything else is going to get sold on the internet. So if you want a Nitro part, let me know. Think here, buddy. How's it going?
I think it's going good. We made quite a bit of headway.
Yeah.
And tore back, got the radiator off, the handlebars stripped. Working on taking the seat off and the plastics now.
Yep.
Getting more prepared to pull the motor.
Yep, almost there. I'm in the process of getting this front frame off, and then we'll take the seat off, get to the tunnel, get the exhaust off, and then we'll get some of these subframe parts off, and then the motor should pull right out. Not too big of a problem. We should have it out in 2 more hours, I think.
Yeah, we're gonna take a lunch break. Coming together, it's coming apart quite a bit better than I thought it was gonna. So,
it's usually easy taking things apart. It's putting it back together. It sucks.
Yeah, I'm great at taking shit apart.
Is this OSHA approved?
You need a torch.
We don't have a torch, so we're hopefully making this work. We got an exhaust bolt that does not want to come out quite yet. So yeah, here we are. All right, we're on the home stretch, pulling the engine out. This is why it costs so much to work on these things.
Yeah.
No,
Three grinding blades later.
We just pulled the wide pipe out, and honestly, I'm not really sure how they expected people to take that out if they had to replace it. It kind of baffled on that. So we ended up just cutting that out because I didn't really plan on selling this. Time to start yanking out the engine. So I think we need to pull out the subframe here, which I already got half of it unbolted. And then I believe the engine should just fall forward. I think that's the easiest thing to do. Just gotta make sure that we don't drop the engine down.
Yo.
build some carriage bolts.
Yes, they do. Holy crap. That's an engine mount bolt right there.
Polaris, take pointers.
Well, we're on the step of pulling the engine out. We got the engine mounts off. One of the headers on that was, the bolt was seized into the engine, so we're going to have to probably tap that bolt out, but
hey,
it's down the road.
One bad for 6 wasn't bad.
Well, most of them were pretty bad.
Yeah,
we got pretty lucky.
Rough, so.
It didn't come out really well. You can see it's pretty oxidized in there. This thing got in a little bit of salt. It must have did quite a bit of road riding at some point. We got her out, Wyatt.
Yeah.
Woo, after, what was it, 5 hours, 6 hours?
Yeah, something like that.
Well, not too bad, actually. That's what I kind of predicted.
One broke bolt. Not bad.
One sheared off bolt. Not too worried about it. I think we'll get her out, but it'll be my project. I'm gonna take the jack shaft and the skid out and stuff. That's gonna be for sale, but and then we also need to take this subframe off here.
About 20 minutes. We didn't realize that. We seen it earlier, but we kind of forgot about it.
Wasn't sure, but in hindsight, this is here for a reason. You have to remove that to pull the engine down. The only way it'll come out. And yep, lesson learned, but we got her. Next time, right?
Yeah, next time.
Next time.
Install, we'll know.
Yeah, or the next nitro. Time to start mounting the engine or mocking it up to the RZR.
Going on.
Hey, it's a little late one, isn't it?
A little late, yeah. We worked today and, well, we decided to tear into the RZR now.
Yeah. All right, let's get her loaded. Yeah, I'm gonna have to move the car. I could probably just pull in front of my truck. We figured this wasn't going to be super much wider. Now, the engine per se isn't really much wider than stock RZR XP, but yeah, we're working with 3 cylinders here, but there's a lot more drive crankshaft down here. So we're gonna have to move the engine over to the right farther than we'd like. So
relocating the shock.
we're probably gonna have to relocate the shock just a tad. We're thinking about maybe mounting it. It normally mounts to here, down. And I think we're gonna have to come up. It should be fine. And these got 32s on there. This is a lot bigger than stock, and it's gonna work. It should clear just fine. So that's probably what we're gonna do. We'll probably relocate the shocks to a different position, and so this is gonna be the hardest part. So we're looking at, this is obviously not square at all yet, but to use the Yamaha belt, that's what we're working with here. The Polaris belt would probably work too, but I didn't take measurements on that. But so we're gonna bring the engine a little bit closer so we can get our correct length this way, and then, well, once we get the engine lined up how we want it and get things marked, then we'll figure things out. But yeah, it's gonna come this way a little bit, and it's gonna set maybe up a little bit more, and then yeah, we're gonna figure a lot of stuff out. But it's gonna work. I think it's gonna be just fine. We might have to do a bed delete because the engine, I think, is gonna be a little bit taller. We could bring the engine down. Maybe that's what we do because the headers are gonna be pointing up.
Yeah, bring it
down. Like in the Snowmobile, we bring it down at an angle a little bit. It'll give us maybe some more head clearance here.
That might bring it in enough to where we gotta bring the clutches closer to.
Yeah, and then we could probably get a little bit closer. Now, the stinker with this is that the oil filter is right here. So that's gonna be the only stinker when it comes to changing the oil filter. We gotta make sure it's far enough away from the transmission to change it. That's gonna be we gotta think about that down the road situation.
It might be we have to pull one of the engine bolts out and rotate it forward.
It might be, yeah. Who's to say? Maybe we can. I don't know. That's gonna be down the road. Gotta think about it, situations. But otherwise, for the most part, it's not going to be too much of a hassle to get this in. The next video is going to be mounting the engine into the RZR and hopefully test riding it, but we'll see. It's gonna be mounting the engine and wiring for sure.
If we have to, maybe we can test drive it on the thumb throttle.
Yeah, if we have to, we can. Yes, we have the thumb throttle to test it out with. But the idea here, we're not the first people to do this. People have thrown Apex engines into Razors.
We might be the first to do a nitro.
I think we might be the first to do nitro. This is a Genesis engine, so I think it's at heart the same as a WAG Z engine. It's just, this is a CVT, and that was the whole idea of this, is just to bolt it directly to this transmission to make things a lot easier for us.
And being the turbo model, already having the bulletproof Razor transmission.
Some people have used Apex engines, and I'm glad we kind of didn't go that route because it's going to be a lot wider than we probably would have realized. But people that have been using Apex engines actually been sitting it in kind of like how the Pro...
an inline cylinder.
The Razor Pro R.
Yeah, more of an inline cylinder.
Yeah, it's all inline, but they have the engine sitting this way rather than this way. So the CVT on the Polaris Pro R,
Pro R,
XPR, the 4-cylinder one, 4-cylinder Razor. The CVT is actually right here, and then they run a shaft to the transmission. So if we were to do that, then we would have to find a whole transmission or find some sort of gearbox, and that's just a lot of.
That's a lot
more than I want to deal with right now. So this is the idea we're going with. It's gonna work. It just gotta relocate stuff.
It might go down a size tire even. I mean, 32s are cool, but I tend to break a lot of shit.
Yeah, do some burnouts on them before you replace them. That's all I ask.
Burn my belt.
Burn your belt off. Your brand new spare belt.
My brand new Yamaha belt.
Yep.
I hope snowmobile belts are cheaper.
They're not. They're not. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for you. Now this is gonna be. I'm hoping we can get this done in under 2 months, but.
I hope so.
I'm actually working part-time right now, so I actually will have a lot more time to work on this off the clock, per se.
So we are at cutting edge fabrication. Motor mounts, some shock mounts.
Yep.
The madman himself.
The sender, the madman. Dustin's been on the channel back in the day. Now he's the guy with the tools. The nice tools. We're gonna make some motor mounts and reinforcement for the Razor. Dustin brought up some good points when he watched our video last time. We need to reinforce a lot of stuff here, so if we're gonna move the shock mount over a little bit, probably should make that pillar a little bit stronger because not very strong, is it?
No, there's nothing holding it from going that direction.
Nope. Yep, good point. So Dustin's gonna help us out, and we're gonna have a professional motor mount welded into here.
We call it that. Fake it till you make it, right?
Yeah.
Hanging with the semi-pros.
So yeah, we
in my element.
definitely
My rednecks here. Ratchet straps holding it up, ratchet straps holding it down, little belt slap here and there.
We've also got a nice high-low over there because that's gonna make putting this engine in and out a lot easier. So it's gonna work out pretty good. Gonna have to start lining things up once we get some more reinforcement done, but yeah, we'll have to really line things up and then figure things out as we go, I think. But we're gonna probably use the original motor mount bracket here, not these brackets, but this pillar here. Probably gonna go with that. That's what the Razor engine mounts to it in the front. We'll probably just utilize that because it's got like dampeners and stuff on it to reinforce the transmission back here. And so I think that's gonna be the first thing, is get this mounted and then align the engine with that, because you gotta align the two clutches together. That's really the most important part. We'll get after it, figure some things out. Dustin just finished welding up. Well, he still got to weld up that side, but got that bracket made, this side's made, and right now we are lining up the transmission, and then we're gonna make at least one mount for it.
Yeah, getting the secondary level.
Yeah, we're getting this, make sure that the secondary is level and as straight as possible, and then we'll have to align the engine with the secondary. That's our thought process on this. Dustin's making some CAD, so we're trying to come up with an engine mount for the bottom bracket. It's raining good out there right now.
Yeah,
That was easy.
Just like that.
Just like that. Just a lot of prep work. Nice. Let's see how good she lined up.
I think it's gonna work.
Oh yeah.
Look at that money.
Like butter. Look at that clean weld. Nice. Coming along. So now we're gonna make a bracket that comes up to here, and I mean, that's gonna be so strong. I was thinking about making tubing and stuff, but that's a way better idea.
Yeah.
I'm glad Dustin's involved with this. Most of them are under the transmission still. Now it's time to start mocking up the engine and hopefully making some mounts here today. Take the shock back out, and we're gonna have to line this up with the secondary, and probably gonna lean the engine kind of like how it was in the Snowmobile a little bit, just so it makes the header for the exhaust a little bit straighter coming out. And trying to find our distance between the secondary and primary. So we're coming up with a bracket to throw in here for now. We set our distance. So luckily this mounting bracket and this mounting bracket almost line up perfectly right here. So we're gonna put a mounting bracket right there, and then once we get this figured out, we're happy with it, then we'll put brackets up at the front on the dampener up there, and that'll be our set distance.
Right in here.
Yep, and then I don't know if we need to put a bracket over here or not. Probably should to help with torque and stuff.
Tie it in.
So we could probably tie it down to this bracket down here. I think it's gonna fit pretty darn good. And then
hell yeah.
This is gonna
relocating the shocks.
Relocation of the shocks is gonna be somewhere in here. It's gonna come along. Especially with the help of Dustin. This made life a lot easier.
A lot easier. The metal guru doing his thing. Getting some straps on it. Getting it level, straight.
That might be a little tight. Coming along, right?
Yeah, it's looking like a side-by-side.
Yeah, got main mounts back here, got mounts to the transmission's mounted down there, and then we got the mounts up here that not done yet, but we're gonna put some spacers and stuff in there. But we just came down to this bar, and yeah, she ain't going anywhere. Looking good. Now we're gonna mock up the shock mounts, and then we're kind of set for a while. Cutting edge fab. Check him out. Precision, professional.
Accurate,
Everything looks amazing.
Cutting edge fabrication.
Yep. The link will be in the channel down in the description.
Michigan.
What do you all do?
Everything.
Everything?
Make a lot of signs, but I look to get into more of the custom fabrication.
More custom stuff. They just powder coating and
CNC plasma cutting, welding, and whatever else.
check him out. If you need anything, let him know. Go to his website, and he'll get it done for you.
He's always up for a challenge.
Yes. Oh, she's moving again. All right, guys, we got the RZR back, and the headquarters here. I still gotta put the correct bolts to mount this in. I'm just trying to come up with the right stuff, get some new nylon nuts. The new throttle pedal and throttle cable came in because pretty much all the new Polaris RZRs and stuff, these electronic throttle bodies and stuff. I went and bought a 2013 Polaris RZR 900 XP throttle pedal and brake pedal, but we're gonna highly modify the pedal into this RZR, and we'll take this pedal out because we just can't use it. And then we're gonna run the throttle cable to the back of here. Brand new aftermarket cable. It's actually meant for a 4-seater because I wasn't sure how long I needed it to be, and this is gonna be plenty long enough. It's probably maybe a foot too long, maybe a little longer. It's hard to say. This locking mechanism is gonna be different, so we'll have to figure that out. We might have to. Looks like we're gonna have to make our own threads in this brace to make this work. I think that this end is actually gonna work just fine, so I'm gonna do that right now. We're gonna take this old one out. So the next step on this whole RZR, I'm gonna strip most of these plastics off going to the dash because I need them out of the way for wiring and for running the throttle cable. So I haven't done anything super exciting yet. I'm really just taking things off on this thing so I can access places. So, you know, I got the dash off. I can access the gas tank now because I'm gonna be doing a lot of work with that. The main harness for the Polaris RZR, don't think I really need hardly any of it. So I'm not gonna take it all out yet, but at some point, once I get things figured out, I'm probably just gonna cut the harness and pull it both ways and just pull it out of there. Right now I'm gonna take the electric water pump out that runs the intercooler on this. Don't need it, so we're gonna rip that out. As you can see, made some progress. We just got the whole plastic panel in here and the subframe. Actually, that can come out too. And that's where your seats sit on and where the shifter goes. Do you wanna take that, Wyatt?
Yeah.
So I'm just kind of fishing out the old harness. We're probably not gonna use any of it. Maybe parts of it here and there. So I'll probably just use it as for extra wiring when I make my own custom harness running through here. Main thing that we're gonna be doing is hooking up the wiring, making sure things are gonna fit where they need to go. Also, if we figured some things out, so the air box is gonna sit in there. We're gonna have an access port here. We got this supporting bracket out here for the firewall. That's just out for now. And Wyatt got some fuel line. So basically what we're doing, apparently I've never really heard of this, but you looked it up, or one of your buddies told you about this fuel filter. Want to explain what this filter does?
It's just, I was looking, a guy at work told me about it. Old hot rods and shit that have siphon lines like the RZR tank, and then the one line to the fuel, like the nitro. You can get a 2-in, 1-out fuel filter. Basically, it's kind of like a Y for fuel lines. So we don't have it yet. We're gonna order one, but essentially, you'll have a filter here, and the pressure will go in, and then it'll do its thing, and then the return line from the filter also goes back down to the tank, and then at the other end of the filter is just a single outlet that would run to the fuel rail. So basically the fuel regulation happens inside the filter. Essentially, it just diverts it back into the tank. That's gonna be way easier. It should work, and that's gonna be way easier than replacing the pump. A lot of people run them on Jeeps back in the day, so building a Jeep and throw a V8 in it or something.
Yeah, right, for custom stuff. So.
That was in the reviews I read. The guy said it worked great for his Jeep build. So
Jeep guys using it a lot. All right, makes sense to me. So we got a lot of work ahead of us yet.
Yes.
Wow, man.
What's going on, bud?
This is looking pretty custom at this angle.
Yeah.
No floors, nothing.
Kind of really like it.
To do what Side by Side blog did is put a clear floor in there.
That'd be cool.
That would be pretty sweet. Yeah, so we took the floor out and the skid plate, just to make life way easier running wires and everything through here, and especially taking apart the coolant lines.
To do wheelies, I'd be able to see where I'm going.
Yeah, there you go. We're at my favorite part of this build, but it's gonna be probably the most boring part of the build, and that's gonna be wiring the harness to the RZR. So probably not gonna record much of this because it's gonna take a while. We're gonna hook into the RZR key switch to the ECU of the Snowmobile engine, and we'll be running everything from that. So that's the first step, is just getting power to the ECU and then getting everything else hooked up. Wyatt's back in town.
Always good when I show up, ain't it?
Oh, well, it's usually because we're working on this. That's why you're here.
Yeah.
So it might not look like it, but a lot of progress has been made.
Yeah. You went ham on.
Yeah, so we're just working on getting the wiring hooked up to the key switch and stuff, and I just learned out. I mean, I do have power going to the fuel pump and other places, but I wasn't able to get it to start with the Polaris RZR key switch. So I did just find out, looking at a wire diagram, that the Snowmobile key switch completes a circuit, whereas in the RZR key switch sends a signal out, so they weren't going to be compatible. I'm hooking back the Yamaha key switch, and probably should have just done that from the start. But, not gonna be a big deal. We're gonna have to make this hole a little bigger and the key switch will go right in there. Not a big deal. So we got power, it cranks over, and here's that fuel pump that Wyatt was talking about.
Found this at the local parts store.
So what we're gonna be doing, basically what happens is that your fuel pump will send fuel to this filter, and it'll get regulated back down to the tank. That's why there's two inlets. It's a circle, and then right here, what the pressure that's left will get put to the fuel rail, and yeah, it should work. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, Wyatt's been riding the struggle bus for feels like an hour, but
what a good friend.
Hooking up these lines to this filter, and
Fuel filter, anyways.
they're not easy to put on. We'll just go with that.
Friendly.
Wyatt's mumbling to himself here.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I didn't see you there. So he's got half of it done now. I figured out the wiring issue. So the Yamaha key switch did fix our problems. Well, at least some of them. Basically, in the last video at the beginning, for some reason I couldn't get it to start. I'm pretty sure that the key switch has a short in it somewhere. So sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. So right now,
Yamaha.
right now. So I noticed if the screen does a lot of flashing, it means that it's probably shorted out and I'm just not getting proper signal, but I'm gonna crank it over what. See it? Yeah, see it turn itself off. Sometimes it works. So yeah, we're gonna get a new key switch in order, but otherwise I do have it wired properly now, and once we get the fuel lines hooked up, we're gonna test out the fuel pump. And we're not going to start it, but we're actually getting close to starting it, to be honest.
Very close.
We still got to wire the fan up, and we still got to put the oil pan and stuff on, but it's still really close to at least testing it out.
A lot closer than I thought it would be this time.
Yeah, same here. We're going to keep on trucking along, and then once we get this hooked up, we'll see how the fuel pump works. And I do have the fuel pump and the fuel gauge working on that monitor, so it should read accurately. So I still gotta run the headlight wires up to here for the high-low beams. I believe that runs off of the relay, so I'm gonna have to wire in probably the relay for that so the high-low beam works. But I gotta also double check, because the Snowmobile might also have a high-low relay and all that already in the harness. So I'm probably just gonna run the headlights from the harness up, and then use this headlight switch in the Snowmobile harness. That's gonna be a thinker. All right, guys, so making some progress. I pretty much got all the front end done, minus the headlights and the four-wheel drive. Trying to get some other things figured out in the back here. So I got the oil reservoir just kind of mocked up. We're gonna try to use this OEM air box. We're gonna put little filters inside of it that hook up onto each of the throttle body boots and stuff. It might change. So we gotta make sure that there's enough room for both of them in there, and make sure that when the trailing arm comes up, that it's not gonna hit anything. I'm also got the coolant lines actually pretty much almost set.
got the coolant lines hooked up. I just gotta get some fittings to connect some hoses together and make this work. But I'm pretty much just reusing all the hoses from between the Snowmobile and the RZR. It's gonna work out. So I gotta plug up the coolant reservoir up here because I'm not using this line coming off. So I'm just gonna plug that off. That was for the intercooler, basically. Nitty gritty stuff, but it's coming along. Basically got everything hooked up that it needs to be hooked up to run. So I just finished up getting the light switch hooked up to the snowmobile harness. Now that took a while. The snowmobile harness, when you start the engine, then the lights are on all the time, and then you have a high beam switch and you activate that and that turns your high beams on. There's no off switch. The RZR uses off, low, and high. Not really sure why, it doesn't really matter, but I wanted to keep it as close to the RZR as possible in that aspect, so I did wire this switch to work with off, low, and high. It just took a while to figure out. I had to bypass some things in the snowmobile harness, but we got it figured out. I need to run some wires up to the front for the actual lights. Right now I'm checking the harness. I'm sending power into the harness after. So the snowmobile has what they call a load relay. So once there's power from the key and once there's power from the stator, then this relay turns on, which is what turns on the headlights and taillights and stuff, and the radiator fan and whatnot. I'm just gonna keep that in because it's really not that important to take out. I thought about taking it out, but I'm just gonna leave it in for now. If I feel like we need to take it out for radiator fan reasons, then we will. All right, so right now it's off, and then there's low and high. Yeah, works just fine. Now we're obviously not using this headlight. I was just using it for testing purposes, but so I'm gonna cut out the snowmobile harness for the headlight, and then we'll run my own wires up to the front, and that'll hook it right directly into the dash of, you know, the OEM RZR headlights. It's gonna work just perfectly. I also got like I said, not using this taillight, but using it for testing purposes, but I also got power to the taillight. That was pretty simple. For the most part, the whole front end is wired. On the snowmobile, this is a heat exchanger. This is right in front of the track. So basically, this also acts as a Y pipe. So once the thermostat opens up, then fluid from the radiator gets bypassed into that. So that acts as a Y and whatnot, but we're not gonna be using this. So I am getting a Y fitting just to bypass this out of the loop. And then we're just using the RZR OEM radiator because that is plenty big enough. It should be plenty big enough to cool this engine. If for some reason it's not, we do have the other radiator for the intercooler. We can probably put that in the loop, but I don't think that's completely necessary at all. Put in the new pedal. I got the throttle cable right here, so we're gonna have to put that in. This mounting bracket right here, I'm gonna see if I can take that out and make my own, or we have to come up with some sort of extension to tie this into the old bracket. Okay, so I got the headlights all wired up and the low and high switch is working. That's low, off, low, high. So last time I was working on this, I almost got everything hooked up. I'm just waiting on the all-wheel drive, and I just got to put the speed sensor up and just a couple other small things. It clicks on and it does roll over, no problem. Well, I have it unhooked right now, but I was working on this and I was looking at the screen, and all of a sudden it's giving me an error code 1 and error code 2. So I looked it up, and essentially what the error code means, the ECU is not getting detected in the system. Even though when I turn the key on, you can hear the ECU running up in the throttle body area. So I think some of it's working, but for some reason I'm not getting a signal to the monitor anyways. My gut feeling is telling me that when I was hooking up the lights to the switch up here, wondering if I screwed some sort of signal wire up or something. I don't know. Now, I did look it up, and some people have said it's possible that you have some resistance in your lines. I've seen some people splice it into their snowmobile harnesses, and they didn't do a good enough job with connection stuff, and it led to some resistance in the electrical wire. So I'm wondering, since I have who knows how many connections that I've made, somewhere down the line I might have resistance too. So I'm gonna double check all my splices and kind of work backwards until I can get this issue figured out. It might start with the air codes, but most likely it won't. We are going to use the RZR muffler just because it already will mount back here, and to be honest, I think this XP Turbo muffler sounds pretty good. I think it's gonna make this engine sound pretty good too. So that's our thought process. That's kind of the plan. So we're gonna keep adding, trucking along, and hopefully we get this monstrosity of wiring done here soon. So now we're gonna finally hook up the throttle pedal. Now this, I just cut this in half. This is a pedal from 2013 RZR. They used cables back in the day. I'm not sure what year they went to electronic throttle, but anyways, so I cut this in half. We're gonna just bolt this into, we're gonna have to make our own mounts and stuff, but this will just get bolted where the old pedal used to be, and then we'll have to drill some holes out to mount this into the pedal, so this will, you know, stay onto the firewall there. And then once you hit the pedal, you pull this cable, and then it goes to the throttle body. So we're gonna drill some holes out and get this thing bolted in. So I got the throttle cable bracket right there. That kind of holds the it just kind of holds the cable against the firewall there for the pedal to pull against. So yeah, it's coming through right there. So now I'm gonna put the pedal in. Hopefully it'll all just kind of go together. I got 2 holes drilled right there for the bracket, and yeah, we're in the home stretch on this. Got the throttle cable ran, still not tied down yet. I'm glad I didn't make any bracket here because this will actually work. I just gotta rethread it, I think. But right now I just have it sitting on there. It's actually almost perfect. I have plenty of extra cable here, so I'm gonna have to tie this up somewhere. I wasn't sure how much I needed, but here's the throttle pedal. Looks pretty nice in there for the most part. We're still gotta figure out, once we get the floor in, we'll have to figure out our spring tension here. And it needs, in my opinion, it needs to come out a little bit more, so maybe we'll come up with something. Put some pressure on this. I think it's gonna work really nicely. I'm still trying to figure out this error code issue. I did do some looking. When this error code does come up, nothing should work. You shouldn't have any fuel pump, you shouldn't have any clicking going on, there should be no spark, should be nothing. And I checked everything. I do have the fuel pump unplugged, but all that is working, and I do have spark. I even tested it. So ideally it should start once we get everything hooked up. I spent the last 10 hours digging through this wiring, trying to figure out if I screwed something up, and I just don't know exactly what's going on. But basically this code means that it's not reading the ECU. The ECU is working and everything's functioning. As far as the engine mounts go, it's not really as bad as I thought it was. Let's crank it over. It's vibrating more than I'd like, and most of it is because the way we have this bracket on this blung bolt. I somewhat questioned it when we did it, but I just don't like how much it's shaking, and I want to redo the bracket for that mount over there. Just get it right on the mount and make it nice and sturdy. Oh, look who's back.
What's going on?
I should ask you the same. Well, looks like we're working on the RZR again.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
It's been a hot minute.
Yeah, since the last video, it's been a little over a month. I've done a lot of work. Like I said, as I was going on this, pretty much all the wiring is done. Right now, we're hooking up this fuel regulator that we had to switch. I already explained that this would have worked, but the fuel regulation was just not in the right spot for this to work properly. So this will work. This has a built-in fuel regulator in it, and it'll work for us. So we're gonna get that installed, and then hopefully get the oil reservoir mounted and the air box mounted, get the coolant finished up, and then it's almost done. We might be able to get the fire up. So, yeah, that's kind of where we're at on this. We're
You getting this?
why it's
because you got it on video.
right, why it's riding the struggle bus here, but
I say, I heard once you go black, you don't go back.
it's not even oil. Why? How's this even happening?
That struggle bus,
Oh
man.
my god. Why it's getting the fuel regulator mounted, so we finally got to hold pressure. We the sheep kit. Oh, why it's dropping another nut.
There's 2 nuts down there next.
So we finally got the pressure to not leak. So hopefully this regulator works for us. But I just got the vacuum line mounted. These triples, they like to fight you the whole way. I'm putting the air box on. I got the coolant line rerouted. So the air box is gonna sit in there like this. So we're gonna have to come up with some sort of bracket to help this stay in there, but essentially that's kind of how it's going to be. We might have to cut these tabs off or something, and then we'll probably have some sort of access port here on the firewall. Well, that's going to be down the road. So now that this is in, we're going to mock up the oil reservoir somewhere behind here. So it primes up to about 50. Another reason we kind of went this way with the fuel regulator is that if we were to ever put a super or turbocharger on this thing, we have the proper fuel regulator on there already. So we are set. I'm future-proofing this.
You're thinking ahead.
Yes, thinking ahead. So we're gonna attempt to start it up. We have oil in it. Everything should be plugged in. That's important. If it does start, it's gonna be really loud, and it might be extra shaky because the front of the engine isn't exactly mounted yet. So fuel primed. You ready?
Yep.
Yeah! Might have to fumble with the pressure on this gauge. Looks like it's maybe running a little low on pressure. Fired right up!
I kind of like the sound of it.
You know, it's not super loud being straight piped. It sounds awesome.
Yes, it does.
I am so pumped. I'm gonna plug this thing in too.
Sounds good.
Yes! The code went away! Yes!
The winds.
Code went away! Oh, I'm so happy.
Some dubs.
Okay. Sorry, I'm in ecstasy right now.
Hell yeah.
Gotta adjust the idle a little bit, but looks like once we get the vibration out of it, but it looks like we got this. The clutch is set up pretty good. Let's try her again. I think we just gotta set the idle a little bit.
All right. That makes my heart happy. Who needs an exhaust? Let's just send
That sounds
it.
actually really good.
Let's
like
just
that.
send it.
Oh, looks like the air code came back again. I think we got. Yeah, we'll figure that out later. It's still
It's running though.
running.
I can't hear shit.
Is it loud back there?
A little bit.
It's not loud in the front.
That's good. They're not in the front. Well, I'm in the front. Wow. Yeah.
It's gonna work good.
It's gonna work. We're gonna send it.
It's coming along. Just the tedious things.
Yes.
I guess it's, yeah, we're really at the point of buttoning her up. We're gonna get the exhaust made. So we're gonna have it wrap around here. It's gonna go
Come back into the stock.
to the stock RZR muffler.
Yep.
It's gonna sound, I think it's gonna sound great. And then get the airbox on, get the coolant in there, get the engine mounts figured out yet, but
It's there.
it's there. It runs, and it's gotta get some things figured out. Figured out some issues of this. Wire harness kind of in the way with this airbox. There's some issue of getting it to fit. So for the most part, it's on there pretty good. Now we're gonna be using those for filters. We will be spraying these with air filter oil because that's what these are designed for. So, but for now, because I'm sure we'll be taking these off here and there. I don't want to get the oil all over the place. So this will go on top of there. That's just the airbox. I think I got it on right. All right, so it goes on there like that. As for supporting this, you might not have to do a whole lot to really. We'll see how, I'm guessing we'll have to nip these off right here so that the firewall sits in there flush, but we'll see. Otherwise, we might have to do some modifications to make it all fit. We might have to put an access port here. I don't know yet. That's kind of down the road, but so that's pretty much all set. Looks like it's gonna work out pretty good. I do believe that we're gonna have this a little higher. I think the zip ties just kind of fell, but we're at the point of starting it up and just trying to get the idle and the fuel fine-tuned. Looks like it's been holding pressure at about 37, so it's going down slowly, which is probably normal. I just gotta make sure that when it's running, it's supposed to hold pressure. I have to look up the stats. I believe it's about 45 PSI. That's what it's rated to run. We'll have to make sure that that's steady when it's running. So yeah, let's get it started. Still not messing with it a little bit, but right now I'm just making sure that the water coolant system's working. Right now I just got pure water in it. And just gonna let it run and warm up. Feels like I got warm water coming through here. So it appears to be pumping this way. Yeah, radiator's getting hot right here. Yeah, it's getting warm over here now. It must be the thermostat's either working or I just got it hooked up wrong. On this end, it feels good. Okay guys, so as you can see, the code is gone on this. This I bought used off of eBay. For whatever reason, the gauge cluster that came with the Snowmobile, for some reason, puked out on me. Not sure why. Maybe it shorted out. I don't know. That's really unfortunate. So I got this on eBay for 130 bucks, I think. That was kind of on the cheap end. Put some gas in it. We'll run it for a while. But now we can see what our temps are and see what codes are coming up. I'm not getting any flashing codes right now or anything. Hopefully we don't have any codes. That'd be great. Now we can see if hopefully I got the speedometer hooked up right. So we'll be testing all that down the road. So it's nothing I did. Just my luck. I swear. This stuff always happens to me. All right, guys.
The fan is working. It's been running for about 10 minutes. Put the temperature. Radiator's working. Fan's working. We have 0 codes. He's running like a dream. Guys, I am so pumped right now. I got the fuel pressure dialed in. The idle's dialed in. We have 0 codes coming up on our new screen. Fans kicking on. We're in the next step. I'm gonna start buttoning her up. So we're gonna tidy up this rat's nest we got going on. The only thing that I haven't tested yet is I still gotta redo the auto drive on this. Now that we can move it, I can see if I got it working or not. But for now, we're just gonna tie it down with some straps and stuff. If we feel like we like it, then we will either change it to a different container down the road or something or other. Yeah, seems like everything's working. I'd plug sensors and then the code would come on. I'd plug the sensor back in. It's reading fine. It's running great. So it's time to just tidy up this mess here, put the floor in, and just work our way back to the engine. Hey, so I just had a little bit of a fiasco. I was getting the wire harness all shifted around in here, and I wanted to see if the headlights were going to work, so I went to go start it, and then I was looking at my monitor, and it was flashing all kinds of codes. I'm just like, what the heck? I would wiggle these wires around, and then it was making the motor stall out and stuff. And anyway, I've traced it to a bad wire inside the harness. They had this wire just all wrapped around, and it was kinked off, and I think finally just enough vibrations or whatever. There was a bad spot in that line, but I bypassed that line out of it. All the codes are gone. I still do have a check engine light. There's no code on that. It might be because it's low in fuel. It's running good now, and so I'm gonna finish up rearranging these wires. Some of these wires I'm gonna mount to the back of the firewall, like the ECU and stuff. So it's kind of going to be laying there for now, but the next step is to pretty confident that the harness running through here is good to go, and so we'll get all that zip tied down, and then we'll start putting in the floor and the shifter and stuff, and then we can maybe do some test rides on this. I'm using yellow tape for now for all the spots that I kind of went through or have splices, just in case in the future. And then once we work out all the kinks and we think that everything's good enough, and then we're gonna go through and repaint this whole roll cage, and we'll tidy up the things when we do that in the future. But for now, that's why it's like that. It's back again. Where we at here, Wyatt?
Oh, buttoning up.
Yeah, I got pretty much all the wiring done up front other than the auto drive. I'm gonna look at that now that this thing is actually movable. So I got the shifter in and everything, so it is now movable. So I'm able to test out the four-wheel drive once I get it hooked up. And then I need to double check the speedometer, but everything's working now. Got all the codes gone. It is. Enough of it hooked up. We're gonna do a cold start on it, and then I'm gonna check, make sure the full drive works, and make sure the speedometer works. And then if not, we're still gonna rip it around.
The battery?
There's no starter yet.
sounds mean.
Oh my god. Double check it and then we'll do a little slow cruise around and then I'll let you do it.
Alright.
I wish we could really open her up, but we can't right now.
No.
I can't piss off my neighbors too much.
It sounds wicked.
Yeah.
Like a Subaru almost, like a rally car.
Yeah, it does. Holy crap, the thing is mean. What'd you do? Man, from back here, it actually looks like it's kind of professional. Not gonna lie. Now, since we got the seats in it and stuff, it looks pretty legit.
Looking like a rock crawler.
It drove pretty legit. I'm pretty surprised of how good the clutching felt on slippery snow.
The engagement wasn't as horrid as I thought, the way you described it.
Right, sometimes it engages pretty hard, sometimes it doesn't. That's probably because the clutch is wore out. I'm assuming it's the original clutch. It's got 9,000 miles on it. So clutch needs rebuilt or replaced eventually. But we are definitely gonna tune the clutches to make it rip better. But it's actually not that bad. So we'll play the clutches down the road. We're gonna make an attempt to make a cover for the clutches anyways down the road. Our first test ride was a pretty good success other than
I broke it.
yeah, 4-wheel drive's working now. Everything's working other than the speedometer, and to be honest, I don't know if I'm gonna get to work. The way that the ECU for the Snowmobile reads speedometer, I think is a little different than how the RZR ECU reads speed, so I don't know if it's gonna work. I'll try one more time, but I think that's gonna be a dud, unfortunately. The last thing to do is to put up the backup beeper on for Wyatt. So he knows he's in reverse.
Yeah. That would be a legit reason to have it.
Yep. I think it's got to tie into the reverse sensor on that right there, and then it should just beep when Wyatt's in reverse, and everybody will know to look out.
Get out the way.
But White's friend came over and he looked at. He's gonna do the exhaust for us. He's an actual professional, so he'll make up the exhaust for us. I'm not really sure how it's gonna turn out, but the idea is for it to come out, and then all three of them are supposed to come down to one single pipe. And the idea is to go into the RZR muffler, but maybe something else.
Yeah, probably like a car Magnum Flow knockoff.
Yeah, it might be just a knockoff car muffler.
Which is fine.
Yeah.
It sounds gnarly right now.
It sounds so good like this. I kind of want to, secretly, I just kind of want to have it a true triple straight pipe setup come out. I think that would sound really good, but.
Like run 3 glass packs off it.
Yeah, something like that, but we're not doing that. We're going to make it look pretty good.
get custom exhaust done tomorrow, which is Saturday. I don't know when to be watching. Got the front bumper on. That was a pain in the butt.
Yep.
Comes the back.
Got the firewall in.
Firewall in. We got the
Bed.
this in the front.
Fenders.
Party in the back. Did a little cutting.
Yep.
Had to cut the bed for the motor.
I'm sure we're probably gonna put the taillights on it here, so that goes there. See, she's coming along. Finally, it looks sick. No one's gonna know what to expect when they see a RZR coming down that sounds like this.
Saves everything and makes it look like a RZR.
It's a sleeper build.
Yeah.
Eventually,
You know I'm gonna send it.
eventually it'll get supercharged or something. Eventually, finally leaves the garage here today,
Just to come back.
just to come back. Probably to come back. That ain't right. Well,
You know, I was supposed to have this from.
yeah. Well, we're having a slight issue of it. It's not wanting to start at the moment. It smells like it's flooded for some reason. So we're gonna take it over to my house real quick, check the plugs, dry it out if it's flooded, and then hopefully we can get the start. We're gonna head over to Cutting Edge Fab, and we're gonna redo a couple motor mounts over here, and should be hopefully ready to rip. So either the ECU is being really weird for us, something else is going on, or it flooded for some reason, not really sure what. And yes, we did unplug the battery when we welded on it. Fighting us the whole way. The whole way. We made it back to Cutting Edge Fab. Still can't get the start, but we're gonna straighten up our transmission, and actually while we're here, we're also gonna take this exhaust off, and we're gonna double check, make sure we have nothing stuck in our valves and whatnot. So that's what our plan is at the moment, and yeah, so hopefully we can figure this thing out.
It needs tune, does it?
What?
Doesn't seem like it needs tune.
The
The fuel.
It's cutting out a little bit. Wide open throttle. If I pin it, it kind of hesitates a little bit. Not terrible. Top end, like it's fast, but it has not much power in the top end, so we'll
we'll have to fix that, I think. But low end power is good. It's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not too far off. It's fast.
It's very, yeah.
It's the top end is lacking a little bit of power, I think. And I think that's just because the clutches are just need adjusted. So, yeah.
Hell yeah.
It didn't really cut out like it was last time, so maybe it's the tires are helping.
And maybe the tires and the exhaust is finally figuring it out.
It's kind of relearning itself, probably. Yeah.
It sounds nasty.
I think. Does it? Yeah. I'll have to listen to it. Your machine.
Hell yeah. Oh yeah.
Alright guys, so I'm at the finish line here. Brock and Wyatt are gonna compete. See who is the fastest at the moment. I'm guessing Brock's probably gonna get him. Right now, Wyatt's RZR has pretty good low-end torque. The high speed, though, is kind of lacking on power, so we'll see. They're trying to figure out how they want to do this. So right now, they're going off of a dead stop. I don't know if they're going to do any rolling. This is probably a quarter mile right here. Oh, here they come. I'm not sure what Brock's horsepower is. It is tuned. I think he's probably pushing 140 horse probably on that. We'll have to just dyno it and see for sure. All right, they're lining up again.
Ready, go, 1, go!
Here they come. A lot closer this time. And really, for just leaving the Snowmobile primary on that, it's not far off. It really isn't that bad. Sounds so mean from a distance.
It's pretty good though.
It's
Like,
for
it
being
takes off winning good.
for being not tuned at all. It's running pretty good.
That was the last one was 4-wheel drive.
Yeah, it was a lot closer that time.
Yeah. 4-wheel drive's a lot closer. Yeah. I spun out. I was spinning the whole way.
I was wondering, spun out. It was nice.
You know, I'm way more excited for losing 3 times than I should be.
At least you made it 3 times, right?
Man, this is the most you've driven this thing in like a year and a half.
Yeah, I think I put more miles on it today than the last time I drove it.
Yeah, I think so. I'm so happy for you. This thing is awesome.
It's awesome for everybody.
Dude, I am so happy. This thing turned out so good. That's all. Everything's doing good. Yeah, that's how you properly break in a new belt.
Oh,
right
yeah,
there.
for sure. You gotta
Drag race
You
it.
gotta ride it how you're gonna drive it.
Yeah.
So. When they say low RPMs, that's what they mean. Rev limiter. Only
Rev
twice,
limiter.
not 3 times. 3 times is too much.
I'll tell you what, from a distance, this thing sounds mean.
Yeah.
It sounds so good.
When you did the drive-by.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It's just, what the hell's he got in that thing?
Brox, what are your first impressions of the RZR Nitro?
definitely different.
And watching you guys just from a distance, like I have no idea what to expect when I hear this thing from a distance. It's just so weird. And I love it.
It's nasty.
It sounds mean. It's loud.
Very loud.
You wanted it loud, and she's loud.
It's loud.
God damn it!
Waiting for people ready to ride.
Sounds just like next three. I need a lift. Need a lift. That thing sounds so good.
Dude, it jumps good.
It sounds. Your suspension's working pretty good now.
Good, yeah.
I'm wondering if the smaller tires are
Lighter tires.
helping it out a little better. It sounds like an X3, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. It sounds more like an X3 than it does a YXZ, I think.
Right, yeah. I mean, they're more straight piped, I think.
Yeah.
These kind of come out and then bend up.
Yeah, they do. I don't know. This is what it is.
You want to try it?
No, you can try it. I'll just hop in the side. I'm gonna get some shots of that. It turned out so good, dude. Hope you guys enjoyed this stuff. This was one of my favorite projects we've ever done, so I'm really happy how it turned out, and thank you guys so much for the support. It really means a lot to me. I really do appreciate it. As right now, it does rip. It's ready to start the season, so hope you guys enjoy this content, and I'll see you in the next one.